Good evening, Kurt here with Teach Mom How. Tonight I'm going to teach you how to use Vlookup in Excel. So let's get started. But first off, what is Vlookup? Because chances are if you need this feature, you're probably not searching, how do I do Vlookup? Okay, so let me explain what Vlookup is. Vlookup is where you can tell Excel to look up a certain value in a range of cells. Okay, so for example, here's how I've used this in the past in some of my businesses. Is if I had to write up an order, this is a real life example from a home security business I used to have. If I needed to write up an order, rather than having to manually type in the cost of each item, I could use Vlookup. Okay, so basically I have a key, I have a database of all the items I sell. You could use this for a menu for a restaurant, grocery store, any business, your inventory on Etsy. There's a lot of applications. But if I have a range of values and I need to search them so that I can find the price, that's a perfect application for Vlookup. Okay. So here I've created a menu of all my security equipment. When I was really doing this, I had a lot more items, but just for the sake of this video, made a short list of pieces of equipment and their prices. Okay, so now if I'm doing an order, let's say right here, this is my order. Okay, I can just type in what items I want or what items the customer orders, and with Vlookup it will fill in the prices, and if I do my equations right, it'll fill in the total cost for me without having to do that by hand. Okay, so let's do this Vlookup equation so that it can automatically find the cost of the camera from this database. Now if you're doing this with a huge database with like 20 or more, I probably would recommend that you have a second tab with the database and prices, and then one tab for like your order to just calculate what the prices are. Okay, all right, so first item that I've put on my list, to save time, I already created my shopping list, so to speak, is a camera. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the price cell. I'm going to click equals like we do with any formula, and I'm going to start typing Vlookup. It'll automatically put a parentheses. With Vlookup, I need to tell it what it's looking up. It's looking up the camera. Okay? Then I push comma, and I tell it where it's going to look that up. And that's going to be by clicking from here to here. Okay? Now it's going to look it up in this range. All right? Then I do comma, and now I have to tell it where to pull the price from. I'm going to pull the price from the second column, column 1, column 2. So I put a number 2, and then I push comma again, and I have to tell it if it needs to be approximate match or exact match. In this case, it's a price, so I want it to be false, exact match. And then I close out my parentheses with another parentheses, hit enter, and it automatically pulls the camera. So watch what happens. If I don't have to retype that every time. If I now copy and paste that, clear down this list, it will figure it out for me. So if I now add outdoor camera, it finds the price for me. If I now add CO2 detector, gotta make sure you spell it right, it finds the price for me. Smoke sensor, it finds, oh, I probably spelled it wrong. Copy and paste is the safest way to do that. Why won't it find the smoke sensor? What is wrong here, people? Aha. It's because I can't just copy and paste that equation. But there's a different way to do that. Hang on. Back up. I apologize. Rather than copying and pasting the equation, because it bumps that range down, is I'm going to click here and double click that. And that will copy and paste it the way I wanted it to. Okay. Let me show you one more time. Command Z to undo. All right, so what happened is when I copied and pasted this is a lesson to learn. When I copy and pasted this by just Control C, Control V, or Command C, Command V on a Mac, what it did, if you double click the equation, is it automatically shifted my box, my range down. And if I do it again, it will shift it down again. So eventually the equation didn't work anymore. So what you do instead is you write the correct equation like I did, and then you hover over this corner and you double click, and that fills it in correct. No, it doesn't. It moves it all down. That's a problem. So you could manually fix this by changing the range right here back to 1. Now it'd solve it for you. Like right here, double click this, change this range back to A1, and that would solve it for me. Okay. Now if I put the smoke sensor in here, copy and paste that, it shows up. Keep it at A1. Okay, that's one way to do it. Another way I could do this, let's rewrite the Vlookup equation. Vlookup is I could select the entire column like that by holding Command. So I click A, I hold Shift, click A, hold Shift. That will select the entire column. And then I do, actually back up, First I have to choose what I'm looking up, which is this here, okay? Then comma, then select column A, hold Shift, select column B. Now it's gonna make the table the entire thing, thousands of cells deep. Then I do comma. Which column do I want it to look up? Column 2, 1, 2, okay? Then comma, approximate match or exact. In this case, it's a dollar amount. I want the exact. Close it out with a parentheses and hit enter. Okay, now that's working. And now if I copy this, Command C, Command V, it copies it the entire range. So there's your solution to the copy and paste problem, okay? I'm sorry that I made that mistake, but now you'll know how to fix problems if you run into those mistakes. So here's the question though, why is the smoke sensor saying 50 when it's really? It's because I copied and pasted a number somehow, not an equation. Command C, Command V, Command V, okay? So there you have it. Now, let's add a quantity to each of these. 2, 1, 10, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay? Now let's total up the cost, and let's make this, by the way, let's make this a dollar by searching format, clicking on accounting numbers and choosing English dollar. Okay, there's the dollars. 2, and then let's total that up by writing an equation in the total column equal quantity times sign price, enter 600, and then just copy Command C, Command V, or Control C, Control V. Let's just copy and paste the entire row. Okay, so now you have your total costs of each item, and down here at the bottom we can write total, and we can sum up the total here by clicking this sum button, and by default it's going to select all of those, and I'm going to hit enter. There you have it. Now I've created a table that will use VLOOKUP to look up the price of the item I'm searching for. It'll total up the total of each item depending on what my quantity is, how many I want, and then at the bottom it will total up the total cost. That is how you use VLOOKUP, and that's how you create it in Excel. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.